Hi everyone. Today we are doing the last part of our managing social economic diversity. Okay, so we're looking at how can a society provide for the healthcare needs of everyone. Okay, so essentially we're looking at, when we look at treating someone and to meet their healthcare needs, who pays? Okay, is it the government who pays more through taxes, or is it the individual? Okay, so we've looked at two different systems so far. The first one we looked at is actually the government finance approach. Okay, as the name suggests, that means the government pay for most of it. Government finance. Okay, so this is the cost of treating someone. The government pay for almost everything. Individuals at most pay a bit. Okay, and this is what we saw in Sweden, in the UK, as well as Canada. All right. Last term, we also look at another approach, which is another extreme. So instead of the government paying for almost everything, we have the case of the individual paying for almost everything. Okay, that means the government hardly comes in, hardly do anything, and then everything is left to the patient and other sellers of healthcare products like insurance, hospital, clinics, doctors. Okay, and this is what we call the market-based approach. All right, so we have looked at both systems and we have looked at both the benefits and the trade-offs. Okay, then this was looking at from the case of the US. All right, so we'll look at both systems, and today we are looking at number 3. This is a typo. Number 3, shared responsibility approach, which is something that's unique to Singapore. Okay, so the shared responsibility approach is neither like government finance, where the government pays for almost everything, or is neither like the market base, where the individual pays for almost everything. Okay, rather it's a case of somewhere in the middle or a bit more from the government. Okay, that means the government and the individual needs to share the payment of the healthcare costs. Okay, and this is something that's quite unique to Singapore. Okay, and this is what we're going to look at today. All right. Now, if you look at Singapore's healthcare and you Google about it, you will see something like this. You will see some who say that, wow, Singapore healthcare cost is so high, people can actually reject treatment because they can't afford to be treated. So that's why they say they can only die and cannot afford to fall ill. Okay, and then you see some things like this, online, say, wow, they have to pay $380,000 and things like that. Okay, and then yet you have people who put online things like this. This is actually from my friend's Instagram story. Okay, the original cost of the father's medical cost is for the medication is 4,583. Okay, 4,583 and 40 cents, and then actually what my friend needed to pay was only $412. Okay, less than 10% off what the actual cost is. Okay, so there are people who say that, oh, it's too expensive, and yet there are people who say, oh, actually it made it Singapore made it quite affordable. Okay, you see things like this online also. All right, the person healthcare cost was $100,000, but because of the various government scheme, they only pay $0. Okay, they hardly need to pay anything. So here's the question for you. Do you have people who say, hey, Singapore healthcare system can't meet my needs, I can only afford to die, I cannot afford to be treated? And yet there are people who say, no, I can afford it because of the Singapore healthcare system. So which is the case? I want you to decide at the end of this lesson. Okay, so let's look at the system, various perspectives, and you decide. All right, so I'll end the introduction video, move on to find out to the next video to find out what the government does in paying for healthcare costs in Singapore.